What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. There it is, to a brand new video on the channel. Welcome to some Forza Horizon 5. In today's video, we got ourselves a brand new car that they've added into the game. A car that we've driven last week just a little bit, just to see what it's like, which is the 911 Dakar, 911 Rallye, whatever you want to call it. We can now actually get it and drive it and upgrade it and modify it and do whatever it is that the game lets us deal with it. So let me swap over to it. By the time I'm swapping over to this thing, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. It helps a lot. It is starting off at straight up in A-Class. A-Class 800 as standard. And it comes with those rally tires. That's actually quite sick. It doesn't come with the off-road rally tires. Or maybe it does. It's just the way the car, the model is now. Which wouldn't really make any sense because it just doesn't feel like it has those tires on it. Yeah, it doesn't actually come with those tires on it. So, even though it does say that they are rally tires, so obviously changing over to these ones, it's this tire model here. But, as you can see, it's actually worse than the standard ones. But if you go to these ones, much better. Much, much better. In terms of off-road grip. Sure, even launch and acceleration and everything is just better with these tires on. So, now, I've already done a lap with this thing, with it basically completely stock. So if you want to watch that, go watch one of the previous videos. So I'm not going to be driving this thing stock because I feel like it'll be a little bit of a waste of time. But the main and most important thing, the one thing that I did say in that video that I want to try on are these off-road race tires. Because I feel like they're going to be really, really good on this car. So that's what I'm going to be doing straight up from the very beginning of this. I'm just going to go ahead and try and build this thing. I'll keep it in A-Class, but obviously, we'll have a look and see what's available for this. We can only put the counters on for the front end. The rear end is non-adjustable. We can, however, get rid of the roof box, which for whatever reason brings our stats down. It brings our top speed down. Really? But it brings everything else up, so it brings our class down? It makes no sense. We get rid of whatever's on top, which is fine. And we put the little boot spoiler there, which is even better. Oh, I was gonna say, can we put on some mud flaps? I feel like that'd be kind of sick. Side steps or whatever the little side skirt thing, I'm not gonna change. Here, for whatever reason, these drop 2 kg. Putting them on, they look sick. What are we looking at for engine swaps? The 3-liter flat 6 twin turbo, which is from the Turbo S, and then we have the hybrid one from the 918. Yeah, I mean, the rest, I kind of just want to give this thing the best possible. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we put for the diff, but we'll buy that. The next thing is just try and get this thing to handle as well as possible. Okay, now it's just fully adjustable if we put this on. If we go ahead and give it weight reduction, obviously it's going to jump up into S1, so we're not going to do that. Anti-roll bars, we're going to buy these because they don't really change much. And then what? Do we just add a little bit more power? I think just adding a little bit... Adding a little bit more power would probably be a really good idea with this thing. I kind of want to keep it, like I said, in S1 for the moment. And, can I change the wheel size? Probably just do that. There you go. Boom. Done. And now, we're still in A-Class. We've brought it up to 500 horsepower. Weighs 1,555 kilos. Our grip should be better, off-road. A lot better. So, I want to see what it's like in A-Class. There's a few events that we can probably try this out on. I asked over on my Discord, by the way, if you want to join the Discord, link to that is down below. But I asked on my Discord, what should I test this thing out on? What sort of track? So, Dom has told me to try a couple of them. Juan Scramble would probably be a really good one to try and mess around with. I haven't done the front aero, which we probably should have. I feel like it helps a lot with how much you can like get the car to like kind of move in and dart into corners and stuff like that. So maybe I'm gonna do that instead of giving it more power. There you go. We still gave it a little bit more power, but because that kind of helps a little bit. Actually, it helps a lot. If it's tuned properly, it helps a lot with how sharp or how nicely it turns in, especially higher speeds. It's really, really useful. Right, I'm gonna slap a little bit of a basic tune onto this thing, and we'll see what happens, and then we'll go from there. It looks really good, just out in person like this. I've shortened my gear ratios as well. I mean, on the actual road itself, it just seems to turn in so much nicer than before. A tiny bit loose, but that's fine. We are on the actual road itself, and obviously my tires are also not inflated. Their PSI is pretty low, but it's very good for off-roading. If I go and I overinflate these, they're gonna be like super slippery. But like this, you have quite a nice amount of grip on the off-road section. Right, so I want to try, like I said, to bring this thing over into Rivals and test it out and see what it's like. And bring it over onto some sort of a dirt track. I think San Juan Scramble is a pretty good one. I mean, this one is an A-class, and I feel like San Juan Scramble is definitely one of those where you need like a lot of power to get some good times here. But again, we're in A-class here, so we can't really bring anything out that has a stupid amount of power. The NSX is definitely one of them that should have quite a bit of power. Shelby Daytona, it's also a good one. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Where am I in the world on this? Because I've definitely used the Lincoln Co. 05. I think this is a car that someone has sent me. I'm just going to select myself as the ghost, and we'll go around the track a little bit with this 911, and we'll see what it's like. Like I said, we've driven this thing stock, so I know exactly what it's like stock, and it's not great. Feels like a little bit too boat-like, and it doesn't have too much grip with the standard tires. So with these tires, it should be quite a lot better than what it was before. I do like this thing a lot, by the way. I did say that in my previous video, that I do really like this thing and the way it drives. So if we somehow improved it, then even better. Even better. You can see how it handles some jumps as well. Again, this is only an A-class, so it's not really that powerful or that crazy right now. I've already driven, what was it, the 959, which was built to the top of A-class, and I've driven that. That's the most recent car that I've driven off-roading, and that was for the trial. I just completed the trial. I won every race. And what I mean by I won, as in like I literally came first in every race with that thing. So it's a really good car. The 959 Dakar that I was using in that event. But obviously this thing is a tiny bit different. It's a lot newer. I think this is definitely one of those tracks where you need a lot more speed than you do grip. So I don't really know if San Juan Scramble is probably the best place to test out an A-class version of this car. See what I mean? Like that Lincoln Co is so much faster than this. I even actually had to brake with the Lincoln Co. With this thing I didn't actually have to brake at all. I kind of lifted slightly, but I think I could have probably even just went flat out. I do definitely like the grip now with it. Oh, that's my fault. That is my fault. I tried to say wide, obviously, because that's the way to do it, but I said a bit too wide for this one. So you kind of just go into here. I've done it again. I've done the exact same thing again. You kind of stay wide, and then you kind of brake, and then you turn in. But if you turn in a little bit earlier, you can have a really good line there where you don't really have to slow down that much. This one you kind of do have to slow down. But again, not that much. As you can see, I'm getting very close to that Lincoln Co. Even with this horrendous run. But then once that thing gets a little bit of open space, it just pulls away. So I was thinking, what can we possibly do to maybe make this thing be a little bit faster? I mean, we can obviously give it a little bit more power, but at what cost? Like, what can we really like take away from it? Is this thing as standard? It already is in A-class. You know what I mean? I think I can beat the Lincoln Co. with the 911. If I just drive a little bit better, I think I can position myself even higher in the leaderboards on the San Juan Scramble. I'm getting a little sketched out because I see the Lincoln Co. braking, right? I see myself braking when I was in that car, and I'm like, maybe I should brake in this car as well, but just I don't have to. This thing definitely has a lot more grip than that car. definitely a lot more grip. Like, the corners that I can take with this car are so much better and so much cleaner. I just feel like I have too much grip and not enough power. I wonder if this is a car that I should probably use in S1 instead of A-Class. Because I genuinely think that this car with S1 class power could definitely be a pretty decent car. Told you I can beat the Lincoln Co. Like, the only thing I don't have right now with this car is power. Let's bring it into S1 and try it like that. It is really nice to drive. It's super easy to control. I feel like I have way more grip than I need for it to be an A-Class, if that makes sense. And for the power that it has now. It needs to be a little bit more sketchy to drive. As in, it needs more power. So I'm going to hit it with the weight reduction, and I'm going to hit it with a bunch of power, and then we'll come back again. But then in S1, we already have like some really big contenders. Especially for the San Juan Scramble. So, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a very interesting one to test out. Because I genuinely feel like we could possibly be a little bit outclassed and a little bit outmatched once we start doing this stuff. So, there's the weight reduction. I mean, our grip doesn't really go up too much. I mean, our acceleration and our launch goes up massively. But then, I might just keep the standard engine as well in this thing. So, we're not going to change the engine, but I will end up just upgrading everything. Let's go with the turbos, because turbos should be like a big upgrade. Probably, yeah, go on then. Why not? I was going to say, should I put in anti-lag? I mean, we are turning this thing into kind of like a really fast rally car, so might as well. I don't think this engine can put it out. Yeah, I don't think, like 736 is about as fast as we can get this thing to go. I think we might need an engine swap. Which means we can put the 918 engine in this thing. 918 engine in this thing goes so hard. Just in general, the 918 engine goes so hard. Okay, 970 horse. Look at the difference in stats now. Not only is it over 250 kilos lighter, it's also got almost... Wait, yeah, it's got double the horsepower. Almost double the horsepower. Oh my god. This is gonna be so much faster than what it was before. So much faster. I'm kinda... Yeah, it is an absolute monster now. But look how easy it is to go sideways in it. Gear ratios can kind of stay, I think. I think we'll keep the gear ratios like this for now. We'll see if they work with this engine. Let's go back to San Juan Scramble, and this time we're going into S1. It's gonna be a different breed of cars over here. Yeah, the CLK GTR is just... I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get anywhere near the CLK GTR. That thing is so overpowered for events like this. And it's got so much grip. Like, that is just a mental car. So I don't think this can go head to head with that car now. But we'll try it anyway. We'll try it anyway. Alright, let's give it a shot. This is just gonna be so much slower than it. I'm expecting it to be like 5 seconds slower. Because that thing is just way too overpowered. That is basically like a meta car in this game when it comes to S1 off-roading. So for this thing to be matching up to that car, it's gotta fill some absolutely enormous sized shoes. But I don't think it's gonna be able to do it. I think it's a fun car in A-Class. I think keeping it in A-Class is probably a good idea, but I don't think in S1 then it becomes way too under geared. I was gonna say it just underperforms compared to some of the big boys that we have in this class. It's just not it, you know. The fact that this thing even tries to like understeer a little bit, even though most of the power is going to the rear, and just the way I built it, with the diff setup. It's pretty impressive power-wise, though. Very impressive power-wise, though. I didn't realize I was going that much faster than the Merc for that event. I might try it on a different track, actually. If this thing absolutely rips like that, with speed, maybe a nice little sprint. Nice little sprint track would probably be really, really good for this. It's definitely not as slow as I thought it was going to be compared to the thing. What was that, 3 seconds? Look how much faster it is here. Yeah, I messed that one up. That's not bad. That's definitely not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Definitely not even close to as bad as I thought it was going to be. Right, let's try a different track. Let's try one of them that's more like a sprint event than anything else. I don't even know which one I should really go for, but probably try one of them that I haven't done before. One of them that doesn't require me to have too much grip for corners, and I can use this thing's speed, I guess. So let's have a look at some of the sprint tracks that we have available. Obviously not something like this. See, something like this one could be okay. I mean, we have the really, really tight corners, and that's pretty much it. And there's also like a good portion of it that's on the actual road itself. I don't really like that. This one, too many tight turns. So stuff that just doesn't have like super crazy tight turns. Cascada Trail is also an interesting one. I'm kind of tempted to try this one. See, like this one kind of seems simple. It has tight turns, but the acceleration for this car is so good that I think between those turns it could be really, 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 really good. Let's just try it anyway. Let's just see. I don't know if I've ever done a run on... No, I've never done a run on this track on this one. So, let's just try it and see. Whereabouts in the world can I position myself with this car on that track? On the road, it kind of... Yeah, like, it's not great on the actual tarmac, but I think on the off-road part, it's actually not that bad. Okay. See, like, there's so much of this where you just drive around on tarmac, and I don't like it. This is an off-road trail, right? Where's the off-road part? I'm already in 30% and still haven't gone off-road yet. Lads, what is this? What's going on? Alright, we begin. We begin. The brakes are really, really good on it. Careful now. There are a few little jumps here. Handles jumps really well though. Jesus. Honestly, for my first run on this track, that is really, really clean. Am I wrong? Oh god. I know this little section goes across the bridge. We have to be very careful as well here. And then we're good. Like, the speed of this thing is very good. Okay, interesting. It's not a bad car, man. This event as well has way too much tarmac in it. I don't even know where else I can really test this thing out on. So yeah, grip-wise, it's decent, but obviously the meta cars, the big boy cars, stuff like the Mercedes CLK GTR, is definitely a lot better. But, I mean, for picking up speed and going fast, it's a very, very good car. I mean, there's nothing else that I can really do to improve the handling of this thing, to also decrease the power, to make it more in the realm of the Mercedes, you know what I mean? So this is just the way it is now. So it's not going to be meta or OP for anything like that, I don't think. But I think for that track, for this track that I just drove on, is actually quite decent. But for the San Juan Scramble, obviously not. Alright, let's have a look at where I am in the world with this thing. I'm expecting maybe about 3,000 in the world or something like that. Actually, I don't even know how many people have attempted this event. So we'll have a look first before I speak. 700,000 people. I am top 1%. 8? Top 1,000. That's pretty good. That is very, very good. Oh, there's someone from my second club as well, a few spots higher than me. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's not that bad. I definitely expected a lot worse from this thing. So, I wouldn't say this thing is OP. I also wouldn't call this thing a bad car. I think it's actually quite a good car to drive. Yeah, I don't really expect to be able to put down some insane times with it, and I don't think you guys should either. If you have any tunes that you guys have created for this thing that maybe are better than mine, maybe you spent a lot more time, obviously, and tried to improve your tunes. Obviously, I just kind of slapped the basic little setup on it. And I've, you know, tuned my suspension accordingly. Made this thing slightly more rear biased, because I'm pretty sure it started off at like 60-40 split. So mine is now at, I think, around like 78% or 75 split. But then also the suspension setup that I've set up, I made it so it's quite nice. The front end is nice and sharp when it turns in, as you can see. It just kind of darts itself into corners, which is kind of what I want. I'd rather have this thing like kind of oversteer slightly, and then I'll have to correct it, than this thing understeer and then just keep going straight as I'm turning in, you know what I mean? Like the front end just pulls in really, really nicely. Anyway, regardless, that's pretty much it for the 911 Dakar. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I really like this thing. I think you guys getting this thing will probably be a good idea. Not only because it's going to be really, really rare, but also just in case you want to use this thing for anything. I think it's actually quite a decent overall car to use. I think, honestly, maybe putting like race tires on this thing would probably turn this thing into like a really, really good, like just regular 911 anyway, to like drive on the street. But for off-roading and stuff like that, I think it's a really good car. And it's got a stupid amount of power as well, so I can't really fault that at all with this car. Alright, that's pretty much it for the little review of the brand new 911 Dakar that we got in this game. 911 Rallye, sorry. Yeah. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe to the... I can't speak. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. And, yeah, I'll speak to you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good one.